Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sweet Blurred, and today's video will be focusing on one of Netflix's animes, My Happy Marriage. Now, just a disclaimer that I will be giving some spoilers on the anime, so if you have not seen it, please go watch it. I'll also be giving my opinion on the anime as I really enjoyed it, and if you disagree with anything that I've said, please do not give me hate for it. Let's talk about it in the comment section down below, as I'd love to hear your thoughts. So the story starts off with Miyo. She's presented to us as one of the many housekeepers that clean the Saimori household, but we figure out early on she's actually a Saimori herself. And ever since the passing of her mother, her father Shinichi remarried to another woman, Kanoko, whose mistreatment and resentment of Miyo led to her being very sheltered and shunned by her own father. Again, I won't get too specific with the details as to why Miyo was isolated from her family. Please watch the anime to find out more about that, but I will go into Miyo's background and her history and share some of the parts that really resonated with me. Miyo and her sister are both of age to be sent off for arranged marriages to other families, and let me just preface this by saying I do not like Kaya and Kanoko. They trigger me.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Don't like them at all. They're the type of people that they want to rub their greatness in your face and they look down on you, and they're just extremely two-faced. Kaya's a spoiled little brat, and Kanoko, she's just a horrible woman. From the time that she sees Miyo, she just shuns her completely. How Miyo's father Shinichi was okay with that, I'll never know. They're like the evil stepmother step-sibling duo, and sometimes I just ugh. Kanoko had literally taken away any belongings of Miyo's mother that remained in the house after she passed. She just got rid of them, even right in front of her. And even while Miyo was still grieving, she was happy to do it. Kanoko, like I said, she's a terrible woman. Kaya picked up on those same mannerisms. They're both despicable witches. We won't even call them human, okay? Anyways, Miyo's love interest early on is shown to us, Koji, and Koji's a sweetheart, but I'm also very upset with his character because Miyo's family decided to arrange for Koji to be married to Kaya, and it was known to Miyo's family that she and Koji had a romantic interest in each other, but the pain in my heart was greater than the anger when they decided to intentionally keep them separated. They wanted Miyo out of their sight. She was basically unwanted, and Koji, he didn't say anything. He was visibly upset, but boy, speak! Say it with your chest! You didn't fight enough for her. It made me so upset. Now, technically, his father was also pulling some strings on the side, but overall, we had the mentality that he was trying to save Miyo. Well, he didn't do much to that. Enlist the help of others if you need to, but he didn't until about halfway through the season, and the only other person that stood up for her in her childhood was one of the other Saimori housekeepers named Hana. Hana was punished for defending Miyo by being fired, so Miyo was literally and intentionally sent away to marry Kyoka, whom had a reputation for not being engaged, mistreating the women that were his potential marriage candidates. Whole nine yards. Listen, all those rumors went out the window when she saw this man. She took one look at him. She took one look at him like this. She was like, listen, he is some serious eye candy, so I understand. Miyo had a lot of internalized negative self-thoughts of herself, and she wanted to make herself useful to Kyoka by basically resorting to the same household chores that she did back from home, and the whole thing was just very enlightening to see in that moment and very shocking. I have a history of a close relative of mine being emotionally, sometimes physically abusive, and to not have anyone you can confide in or talk to about what's going on, constantly walking on eggshells, or really just not really trying to be a burden or being a bother to anybody, it can be, it's trauma, it's shock. You make one little mistake and it's just blown out of proportion. You feel you can't do anything right. If your own family has these views on you, why should you feel like you're worthy about being around other people? Like, y'all, I literally cried several times up to like episode 6 of season 1 because they are just hitting you with the feels back to back to back, especially episodes 2, 3, and 4. The feels just really crept up on me. To see Miyo suddenly go from such a toxic, abusive environment that just crushed her and just did not allow her to express herself, to a safe, inclusive, and judgment free environment. Like it just kind of felt like whiplash a little bit to me, and I just really related to her so much. The unfortunate reality is that not everyone will be able to understand what another individual goes through when it comes to these family relationships and these power dynamics that are at play. Miyo realized that after spending time with Kyoka, that he's actually a sweetheart and he's concerned for her. She's not like the other potential wedding candidates that wanted to marry him for his looks, his wealth, his prestigious family name. One thing I really loved about Kyoka's character is that he made so many efforts to make her feel safe and included. He could tell that something was off from the very beginning. Kyoka didn't understand how Miyo, being from a prestigious family, the Saimori household, could be brought up like a peasant whose only means of living is to be a servant and a housekeeper, and that's it. You're not allowed to simply be. You can't be comfortable with yourself or being loved. And thankfully, he began to do some investigative work in the background to figure out why she's over apologizing for everything she does wrong, is so boxed in that she's scared to interact directly with others and feels the need to just obey every single command that's told to her like she's an animal. I really loved when he did that, and after doing some research into Mia's family and her upbringing, he went straight to the Saimori household and he demanded that they apologize to her. It's like you can't marry into another person's household without getting those sort of relations sorted out. So I love that he stood up for her. This man barely knew her, compared to Koji, who's known this woman her whole life since her childhood. Like, look, Kyoka is that man.
And my man, thank you to my man.
You know? So sometimes it's literally a challenge to describe what it's like being involved in a toxic family environment, describing how that affects your mindset growing up. This anime displays very similar experiences that I can relate to, and having feelings of self-doubt, questioning how others view you, having confidence in yourself, being okay with having nice things, having the right to stand up for yourself, even apologizing for your very existence. It's very hard to advocate for yourself when everyone else around you shuts you down, puts you down, and makes you feel small. One part of the anime that especially triggered me was when Miyo went to town for some items with Kyoka's housekeeper, Yuri. We love Yuri. Yuri briefly left Miyo to go get something from one of the other stores, and Miyo had heard Kaya and Koji approaching her as she was on the street.
お久しぶりね。ミオお姉さん、お姉様が生きてらっしゃるなんて意外うろついているのだから、工藤様には捨てられてしまったのね。かわいそうなお姉様。何にもできないお姉。
And I looked at her. Who the fuck you think you talking to?
Literally, you can see all the happiness and the life from her face just being drained away in an instant. And man, I've experienced that exact feeling. The trauma and fearful look that she had on her face was just so disheartening. It was disgusting. The animators did an amazing job of conveying how scared and how little Miyo felt. She instantly reverted back to her negative self-thoughts, talking to herself in her head, and the feelings that the moment that someone from her abusive household was around her, like just to see that dynamic shift, and she just reverted back to that, like it was crazy. And the way that they animated it was just, it was beautiful. And here's where Koji again pissed me off. He did nothing to stop Kaya. He was there with her. He only merely just basically said, hey, let's just leave. And it's like, dude, if you love someone, you would defend them and protect them. Miyo lacked the support system she deserved, and her being sent off to marry someone else, to presumably what her family thought was an abusive man, it actually worked out in her benefit. They literally sent her away to who they thought was such an abusive person, just to basically get her out of the way, get them out of sight, out of mind, basically. And it ended up working out in her benefit because she was able to find a place where she was wanted, her efforts were appreciated, and she was viewed as a person, not a thing. And shout out to Kyoka, Hana, and Yuri for being there for Miyo. Like, literally, they are such amazing characters. And Koji, he could have done a lot better to support her during her hardships because he and his family knew what was going on. And I really feel like Miyo was done dirty by those around her. She had no one around her that was supportive. The only thing I can say that's positive about Koji, and he's a sweet character, like I say, he's not a butthole, but it's just that he didn't stand up and defend her. But one thing that I can say about him, at one point in the anime, Mia was kidnapped by Kanako, excuse me, whatever her name is. We don't care about her. Anyways, and Kaya. And he recognized his own inability to protect Mia. With the help of his brother Kazushi, he sought out Kyoka to go and rescue her. And I will always respect him for that. To recognize your own shortcoming, but still doing the best that you can to help someone else, I think is wonderful. He should have done that from the beginning. And Mio had to literally be sent to another area to grow, develop, not constantly be put down on herself and her own abilities, heal and learn from the trauma she experienced, blossom into a young lady that can make her own decisions, support her lover, and stand up for herself. I am not going to spoil everything in between this amazing anime has, but I hope you will please seek out the anime and watch it for yourself. Mio is literally a wonderful character. I'm rooting for her to continue to develop and grow because with all the bad things that have happened in this lifetime, these things will pass. They'll continue to pass for her, and I'm just excited to see season 2 of this wonderful anime. It's already been released. I just don't know when the release date will be, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and leave your thoughts about the anime down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching.